Test one, two. All right. Check, check, check. Amber, can you hear me? Hello, hello. We need to put on. Hey guys,
Hey.
Hey.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Hold on a second. I'm trying something here. All right, let's try that. Say something?
Hello.
Hey.
Shoot, hold on. Let's see. Oh, let's see what's going on. Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Hey, I'm in a hotel borrowing some Wi-Fi in Dallas, Texas. Came out here to see my dad, who's not doing too well. So yeah, this is what I got. Hey, Sam.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm also on my phone. Could close that one.
Cool. Aaron, we get to see you today.
Yeah. Yep. We're actually on vacation right now. It's pretty awesome.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Where are you guys?
In Florida.
Whoa.
No way.
You can probably
Love
hear
it.
the ocean behind us a little bit. We'll mute it.
No, don't mute the ocean. Don't.
No.
Never.
We'll show you. Hold on. I'll walk with
No,
it.
don't show.
I will show.
No.
You can live vicariously. I don't know if you can see it kind of behind me. A little bit.
Oh my God.
Kind of see it. A little bit.
What city?
New Smyrna. It's like south of Daytona.
Very cool. That looks awesome. How long are you there?
We're just there for the week, but it's nice downtime,
Just for
working
the
on our
week.
quarterly goals and all that kind of stuff.
Cool. Oh my gosh. All right. So we got Fox, we got Julie, we got Sim. We got two Sims.
Is that? Oh, it's still not closed. I'm gonna close it now. Try it again.
Okay. Well,
It's just slow because there's nothing on my phone.
no, that's all right.
Close to my phone.
All right. We're going to go ahead and just start and check in with people.
Who's making that noise?
You are.
No, that woof woof.
I don't know. There is some people working over there, so I'm going to mute myself when I'm not talking. But Sim, why don't you start? Let us know what you're doing.
I'm sitting in a chair. I haven't done much work today. Just all the kind of boring stuff with administration. All the stuff I hadn't done for the past weeks. So
Very cool. Catching up then. You're feeling better now?
no, I still have a cold, but I'm used to that in the wintertime.
Yeah.
That's right. That's why it's really hard to see people in Florida. It really hurts.
Hurts his heart.
Yes, and then they're also making us jealous.
Uh-huh. All right, Julie, let's talk to you here.
Hi, it's raining in Pittsburgh, Sam, and it's going to snow tomorrow. So
Yes, it's
helps.
also raining here.
Okay. But I don't know. I'm hanging out. I'm trying to get started on the new year, and I have just upgraded the storage on my PC so that I can upload a bunch of plugins I bought when they were on sale in November. And that admin is a real thing too. I gotta get started on that too. I have a ton of like ASCAP registrations I gotta get current and stuff. So that's where I'm at.
Tell everybody what you bought for the Black Friday sales.
I put them all in a folder so I wouldn't forget any of them, but I went a little nuts. But I got the basic Melodyne version and the advanced ozone pairing with Neutron and the mastering one. I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, and then a ton of like those, hey, only $29 for today things. Like I think I got that channel strip maybe, and I got to go through. They've been in storage in a folder on my email forever because I had no room on my computer. So we'll find out. It'll be like Christmas all over again.
I sometimes find if I buy more than one plugin at a time, I'll forget about the second one because I get interested in the first one. And then like months later, I'm like, oh my God, I bought this, and I never remembered I even had it.
I know. And then I kept telling myself, I'm like, okay, but if you wait 6 months or 9 months and then need this, you're going to pay so much more. So just let it sit there and feel happy that you got it on sale. This is how I talk myself into things. Not healthy always, but it was okay.
Cool. Hey, Fox, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Can you hear me? Awesome. I'm good. I bought a shit ton of plugins, it seems like, over the past 2 or 3 months. I know how that is. Much easier to do that than figure out how to use them. That's a whole different matter.
Oh, you have to learn how to use them?
Yes, Jesus. That involves my brain and my ears. I don't want to mess with that. Just get the toys. Me more toys.
Tell us what you bought.
A while back, I got the East West Hollywood Symphony Orchestra gold version because I wanted something cheap that was.
Oh, I want that one also.
Yeah, so I've learned it a little bit and used it a little bit, so I'm waiting to use it later. I got the Hammersmith piano. Is that what it's called? Hammersmith? Nice piano that a friend was using. And I got some of the Fab Filter plugins. I got the EQ, the limiter, and the multiband because I figured, get some stuff that if it's not working, you can't blame the plugin. It's definitely you. It's definitely me anyway. But right. So that's some of the toys I got. I won't admit to any more. That was it.
That's pretty awesome.
I did fall in love with Melodyne recently. I bought that earlier last year, and it's awesome tool for analyzing music. If you get it to analyze a whole MP3 and then translate it into MIDI, it can just find some things in there that are fascinating.
Never thought to do that.
I never would have thought to do it, but someone recommended it, and I'm doing some ambient music for my church, and so there was one tune, and I said, "Well, let's try it on there." I tried the Logic version. That I forget what Logic is called, but Logic will do the same thing. It'll analyze polyphonically and then strip and then develop and create a MIDI file. But the version from Melodyne was far superior, and it showed me some notes I had no idea were going on. It was like, oh, holy crap, that's cool. So
overtones and stuff.
But these were actually, it was a bass note. There was playing it's interesting. I think it was a D major scale, but they were playing C, which would have been in the bass, which would be the flat 7. It's just not something you'd think would be happening, but it was very subtle, and it was gorgeous. So I was just thought, whoa, okay, you can do some interesting things. So that's some of what I've been playing around with. I've got my band has got a gig coming up in 2 Thursdays, and we're releasing the first of 4 2-sided singles. So that's very exciting. And then I've got another project I'm working on where I've partnered with a couple of people who do a lot of teaching of high school students for writing skills, and they wanted a CD of music to write by. And I was looking for some excuse to write instrumentals that are more cinematic. Though I'm not sure how cinematic these will be, but they'll definitely be instrumentals. So I've started to work on some of that, and that's really cool. So those are 2 cool projects that I'm looking forward to working on, and that also scare the shit out of me.
If it doesn't scare you, you're not doing something right.
Yeah, it definitely scares me.
That's great, man. Hey, Tobias, what are you working on?
Hey, what's going on? What were you saying, Zion? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I'm just checking in with everybody and finding out what they're working on. It's good for everybody to hear what each other is working on, because there's, we can answer a lot of each other's questions that way.
So I just want to thank you again for the session we had. Was it yesterday, day before yesterday, something? So yeah, that was
It was yesterday.
I think so. Keep losing track of time. So that was great, and we talked a bit about using how to use plugins, and then you mentioned isotopes. Was it Neutron? I think the mixing thing it is.
Yeah.
So I checked out Neutron after our talk.
Oh, Nectar, I think, is the one that we were talking about.
Nectar. Okay. Yeah, the mixing plugin, anyways. The one that analyzes your audio and then makes suggestions about how to mix it with which plugins.
Yeah, most of them do that. Nectar is specifically for vocals, and Neutron is more for just like a mixing track, like you're mixing.
Okay.
Neutron has that. Neutron has that track assistant or something like that, which will suggest how to mix.
Yeah.
It's pretty slick, I found.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, I didn't know that existed before. I know you mentioned it all the time, but I never really got what it does, I think. So I sort of, it went in and out.
And does it do what they say it does?
Well, it gives you a starting point. It's not a finished result or anything.
I was pretty pessimistic about it, and I was pretty impressed.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not flawless, but it goes through and finds frequencies that it deems might be problematic or kind of difficult in your mix or your vocals, and it'll like dynamically EQ those frequencies, and it's pretty cool.
The fad filter stuff that I got it does that too. It'll show you problem spots. So I think they're all starting to figure out this technology works kind of well, and it's worth putting in our plugins. It's not a cure-all, but it's not a bad starting point, it seems like.
Yeah, especially if you're a beginner.
And right now it's on sale. So the basic version is like $29, and the standard is $100. And at least the way they advertise it, it's a huge reduction. So I was going to ask you, do you know like if the basic version is that like sufficient, or which one do you have? You probably have the more advanced one.
Let me check. I'm not sure. Julie, do you know?
I don't know. I got the advanced just because I can't remember if I actually did research on whether that had the whole analysis thing. But
You just got
I had this. I think there's 3 versions, aren't there? Elementary, elemental, or something. Standard and advanced. I'm pretty sure I only got standard, not advanced. And standard does do the. You want to double check this, but standard does do the track assistant thing.
I think they all do that. But
they all do that. It's a question then of what else, or.
Yeah, I think the difference is like once it suggests you like the compressors and the amount and all that, the difference is if you can still then go into the plugins and change stuff, or if you have to take it the way it gives it to you. Or I think they differ like in the way you can still access and fiddle around with it, or even use the plugins standalone. I think.
And they integrate with each other. If you have the most expensive, I think.
Say that again, Sam.
They integrate with each other. The different isotope, Nectar.
Oh, you mean like the ozone and Nectar and?
Yes.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, because from what I understand, that each one of Isotope's plugins has sort of a behind the scenes. It's like its own little proprietary connection. So they can all be connected to each other. So if you have Nectar on one track, and then in your final mix, you're trying to master the final bus, you can open up Ozone and tweak the EQ on any of the other tracks that have an Isotope plugin on it, because it sort of has that behind the scenes connector. I'm not probably explaining it that well, but that's from my understanding. I can show you if I can pull this up here.
I'm just looking at their website, and it is my sense that the what is it called? The Elements version has much less ability to tweak some things, whereas the standard version mostly seems to have the ability to tweak. Nope, there's some routing stuff. Route any track to. You can't route to the visual mixer,
Yes.
Visual mix is that funky thing that'll show you where things are visually in your mix.
Yeah, exactly. Do that again.
You want me to do?
A dance.
Let me see. So in here in the isotope area, Neutron 2 is their newest one. So you can drop that on any track. And once you do, you've got all these different sort of presets. The track assistant evaluates the track and just determines what these EQs and things should be. This is the advanced, I guess. Yeah, I did get the advanced. But what's cool is, like, let's say I put this on this track, and this was for a bass guitar. I can name it bass or whatever there, okay? And then on my master bus, here's my master down here. Let's say I drop ozone on it. And sorry about the noise, guys. There's people in the lobby. So here's ozone, and let's say I'm tweaking things like that. And what's really cool about ozone is they have this thing called a masking area. Let's see if I remember where that was. It's a way to see that there's different frequencies that are overlapping each other. Or maybe it's in the tonal balance. Sorry.
Isn't that a Neutron as well? This masking business?
Yes. So like this is the tonal balance control. I dropped that on the master bus. I can down here, I can go ahead and select any of the other plugins of Isotope. And right now, remember, I just created the one called bass. I can select that and tweak the EQ without leaving the screen, because they all kind of talk to each other. You know, I was...
And that's only with the advanced version.
Right. Yeah, I think that's only with advanced.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. That sucks.
That's why I didn't buy it, because I thought this was too expensive.
It's a little expensive, yeah. Yeah, but
good deals now.
I need to go through and really take a look at what those differences are. I saw your question. I was going to research it, and I just didn't get around to it. But that's a great question.
And I also tried to figure it out, like what Fox did now on the website, and I went through that, but I just didn't understand everything.
Yeah, me neither. As I was looking at it, it's hard to figure out what are these different things it's talking about. You know, you might find a video online. That might be another place to go. Also,
yeah,
there's some good.
I tried to find something yesterday.
They're doing sales all the time. Another thing is these sales, it's not like once, I don't think it's been once a year. It seems to me new Isotope's been having, at least had 2 sales last year.
It has. It's kind of...
So worst case, you buy the cheapest one and then it doesn't quite do as much, or maybe you go with standard and.
Yeah, maybe you can always upgrade with the next sale or something like that. That's
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good point. So elements, standard, advanced. I wish you could buy tonal balance control by itself. I think that's so valuable. I really like that plugin, but you have to get it with Neutron. Visual plugin mixer, I don't use that very often. I don't think that's that important, but it comes in standard and advanced.
Does tonal balance come in standard, or does it only come in advanced?
Only in advanced.
Only in advanced. That is such a...
Right.
Maybe that's the main sale point.
Yes.
Probably.
That's why they have it only in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
the mix tap plugin is awesome. So one of the cool things about this as well is with Neutron. Switch screens here. So in Neutron, let's say I have a track here and I don't want to drop the entire Neutron on there because it's CPU heavy, okay? What you can do on every track that you don't put Neutron on, you could drop this Neutron mix tap. And a mix tap is just basically, it's kind of like the equivalent of a utility plugin. A lot of DAWs have what they call a utility plugin. It just allows you to automate another fader if you wanted to, gives you panning, but I love the width on here. I use this all the time. I widen, like I'll have something that was recorded in, it's just a very mono sounding track, a bass guitar or whatever. And if I want to spread it out, I'm not sure how it works. It's totally magic, but it makes it suddenly sound wide. I think it creates a separate signal and offsets it a little bit.
Yes.
And I love that.
Sometimes when people listen in mono, it suddenly sounds real strange.
Yeah.
I've heard that with the Swift thing.
Yeah, you got to be careful when you're doing a final mix. The other thing is, like, the great thing about this this is not very CPU heavy at all, because it doesn't have, all those robust features. But the other great thing about it is you can add the time delay to this, so you can change how you want to delay the stereo spread of that track, or if you want to put it behind the other things. But one of the cool things is right here, I can create let's see, it would be called a high pass filter. I hate the names of these because it's cutting the low frequencies, but you often do this on a lot of different tracks so that you make room for your bass and your kick drums and stuff. And you can do that real quick on the fly here. You just I don't usually do anything sharper than a 12 decibel slope, because you can run into phase. You can run into some weird sounding things if you have too sharp of a slope. And then you can decide which frequency to use. Most of your sub frequencies are under about 100 hertz, 80 to 100 hertz. If you ever install a subwoofer on a stereo in your home, there's often they call it a crossover knob. That crossover determines where you want to put that frequency. And almost always it's going to be right around 80 hertz. So if you think about that, that means your bass is going to be in these areas. So I might drop this mix tap on a electric guitar and turn on this high pass filter and cut out some of those lows so that my bass guitar on the other track really has room to breathe and has room to be there. And I normally would do this with an EQ. I'd have to go into and drop an EQ on and carve out a space. With this, it's so nice. You just drop this utility on and turn it on. You already got one anytime you need it. I think they realized that was one of the most common things people did is cut out the low end of vocals, of snare drums, of all kinds of things. Don't overdo it, though. You don't want to completely kill all low frequencies and voices and stuff, unless that's what you're going for, of course. But anyway, after you do all that, you could say, let's say this was electric guitar. I put that in, and then on my master bus, what's great about it is if I wanted to, there's something I'm not seeing here. It just looks different to me. Well, let's say in tonal balance control. I can go over here and see there, it says electric guitar. I can pull up the EQ of that. Well, in this case, I didn't have an EQ, but the reason they do that is because there is a thing that also comes with Neutron called Visual Mixer. And if you drop that on there, then you can adjust that electric guitar. As I move this around, this is basically volume here. This is panning. And then this is width of that instrument. Okay. And when you have a bunch of mix taps, plugins all over your different tracks, you can use this visual mixer to mix your whole project, as long as there's a mix tap on each track, one of these. At least that. It could be the entire Neutron or Nectar. Let's see how they all work together so that you can control them from a different space. So if I push this way over to the right and go back over to the mix tap, you're going to see it's panned way over here to the right. Isn't that cool?
Yep.
So I'm not at the point of saying if this is a must-have, because I only got this about 6 months ago, and I got the new Nectar on Black Friday, so I'm still trying out the new Nectar. I think the new Nectar is way better than version 2. Version 2 was just terrible. And again, Nectar is for vocals primarily, but it's basically it's a lot like Neutron. It's just designed more for vocals. It's got the vocal assist. You can figure out, what kind of vibes and intensity it is. And then it listens to your audio when you're ready and then gives you a kind of levels for your EQs and compression and stuff. It's pretty cool. So did that answer way more of your question than you had? We got Kate and Jeb. So who was asking about that? Tobias was asking about that. It looks like he's gone or something. But
no, I'm still here. Thanks a lot, Simon. Sorry, I was just off for a moment.
Okay, no worries. No problem.
Now Jeb is gone again.
Is he?
Yes, Tobias ate Jeb.
There's Jeb. What's up, man? What are you working on, Jeb?
Well, my studio setup really. As you know, you had been wondering why I was slow to complete some of the assignments, and you may have been noticing I've been clicking on a lot more the work.
That's great.
Yeah, and I noticed actually I'm still maybe a little bit behind, but I noticed when you're talking about desk orientation in the room, I noticed your speakers, you had them on the desk angled up. Is that a thing?
That's unique to my speakers.
Okay.
The speakers that I have are not powered speakers, so there's no amplifier in it. The amplifier is down underneath my desk, and they're a real specialized speaker called Chris Pelonis speakers, and they were pretty pricey when I got them. I got them a couple years ago, but they're the ones that are on your desk are actually really small. They're not very big. So my studio setup looks a little weird. So don't worry about that at all. Your speakers you're going to have two nice big monitors with either 5, 6, or 8-inch woofers on it with a tweeter and an amp on it. And you want to make sure that that's underneath some kind of cushion between the speaker and the desk.
Yeah, mine came with like these little guys. I guess that's their idea of isolation. I'm sorry. They're like this little rubber feet, basically, you peeled off.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's really small. Well, are you rearranging and trying to find a better spot in your room for your desk?
It's funny, man. The other thing you said, well, yes, I mean, I think eventually, but you're like, one of your lessons, you say you can spend all of your time trying to configure the perfect space for everything, having the perfect gear, and then you never get to the music. And so I'm trying not to let that overtake or stop me from creating. So
good. I
think, it's a process. I think, yeah, I'll continue upgrading my space, upgrading my gear, but I still need to every day create. So I think I'm good for now. I got the things that I need.
Yeah.
And
another thing that I see a lot is people often put their speakers, because their desk is right up against a wall, and so their speakers are right up against the wall too. Sorry about the sound.
Yeah.
If at all possible, bring your whole entire desk out from the wall so that it's about a third out from the wall. So if you think about it, I talk about it in one of my videos, but it really makes a difference because you're going to get this weird immediate reflection right off the wall when you have your speakers right, smack up against it. And it also has a false sense of bass that is not actually there.
Okay.
So if at all possible, sometimes you can't do it. You got to work with what you have.
Yeah.
Another thing is keep the volume low. As you mix, you don't need it loud. You really don't. I mean, unless you're just excited and want to dance around the room, yeah, crank it up and have fun. But while you're really working, keep the volume low. I mean, low. Sometimes I will put it. I don't hold it there all the time, but I will crank my volume so low that I can barely hear it, and then just slowly raise it up. And what that does is it tells you really quickly what are the elements that are cutting through the mix. And you don't notice that. Everything sounds better with more volume. And there's a reason for it in how our ears are designed. I saw a whole video one time on it. It's really fascinating. That as things start to get louder, not like super loud, but as they start to get louder and they sound more full, and our ears start to resonate in a way that actually is more enjoyable. And that's ideally where you want to listen to music at a nice full volume. I'm not talking super loud or anything. But when you're mixing, it can give you a false sense of where those frequencies are. And so I like to mix really quietly, keep things really, when I'm tuning vocals or just blending instruments together and trying to find those sweet spots, mix it really quietly. And then after you think you got it, now turn it up and listen to it in its fullness, enjoy it. And go, yeah, that's cool, you know. It's just a little secret that I learned from a mixing engineer that taught me that. I'm like, really? I'd never even thought of that. But
Perfect.
There's an accuracy that comes with that. And we're all about trying to have the most accurate, you want to be listening to the most accurate representation of what is coming out of your speakers. Otherwise, you can't fix it. You don't know what's going on.
Right on.
Yeah, I love that.
That's great. Thank you.
Sure, man. Does anybody have any questions? Or
Now, what do you think about mixing on headphones?
I
know a lot of people who do that.
Yeah.
Professional people.
Yeah, everybody I have talked to about that says that they're ideally you want to mix on both. And I'm not sure exactly why. I know from my experience, I love when I'm trying to be really accurate, like very surgical, like I need to hear, there's some little weird artifact I'm hearing in the sound. I love to do that on headphones because I can solo that track up and I can identify exactly what's bothering me. When I'm tuning vocals, I love to do it on headphones. I don't like to do it on speakers. When I'm just addressing tracks in a very surgical manner, for some reason it's like using a magnifying glass, you know, when you have really good headphones on. I wouldn't use these. These are Bose headphones. They're noise canceling. They're great for travel and stuff, but I don't mix with these because they enhance the sound. You know, you don't want that. But for when I'm actually mixing the entire song, I have tried using headphones and I can get pretty close, but whenever I finally go into my studio space and listen to it on speakers, I have I don't know what it is. I can hear all the frequencies in a way that's much more representative of what I'm doing. So for the full mix and the feel.
What kind of headphone do you use when you mix?
So I use they're called, I think they're Shure 940s. Let me look real quick.
Are they open headphones or closed?
They're closed. They're closed,
okay.
But they're not isolating or anything, like SR 940s. So yeah, I got them a few years ago. I actually met somebody that was a headphone enthusiast. I was like, "You're a headphone enthusiast?" He wasn't a musician either. He just loved headphones and he collected them. And I said, "Okay, this is awesome.
Crazy.
I need you to help me. I need you to help me determine what are some really good, accurate headphones with a very flat response." In other words, you don't want your headphones to be boosting to have some EQ curve built into the headphone, because then you, again, as a mixing engineer, you want the most accurate representation you can find. And he recommended these, and I looked at a couple other sources, and for my budget, I mean, there's some way more expensive ones than the ones I use, but for my budget, this is what I got. Oh, ooh, that doesn't look good, that link. Anyway, if you look up Shure SRH 940s, that's the one I use.
I use Sennheiser HD 610.
Oh, okay. What do you think of those?
They are great.
Okay.
And you can they also feel really nice. They're really soft. So you can wear them all day.
Oh wow, that's
and
kind of important.
Just a nice sensation on your ear.
Right. Yeah.
A little massage for your ears.
Yes.
I've got to plug in and find a outlet.
And they're half open.
They're what?
So you don't get a lot of pressure on your ears, and then the sound is more accurate.
Oh, that's really nice. I've got to plug in. My batteries get low.
Let's see if I can find them in the other room.
There we go. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, how about you guys, other guys? What headphones are you guys using? Tobias or Julie or?
Well, I'm using Biodynamics DT770. Look like this.
Cool.
And they're nice and comfy. Very nice on the head, so you can wear them for hours. And
can you hold up the side of it to the?
Yeah.
Yes, I used to have those. They're very comfortable.
Yeah.
I did notice with those that they have quite a bass boost. Just be careful with those.
Okay.
Yeah, if you look at the curve on those, they've got quite a bass boost to those. Oh, okay.
Sennheiser.
Very cool.
It's really soft.
Mm-hmm.
So it don't get sweaty if you work when it's hot.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And if it's cold, they keep your ears real warm.
If you're skiing in the Swiss Alps, just every day, right?
You can see the sound can get out here.
Uh-huh.
It's open, so you don't get too much bass pressure. If it's closed and you listen louder, there's more bass, and here it can get out the pressure, the air pressure.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Interesting.
I've got these AKG K271 something or other. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
They're also great.
So,
yeah, very good.
they're nice and flat, but like you said, they're good for details, and I actually do most of my mixing on them.
Oh.
But I got to listen to the other speakers, and then I usually bounce it somewhere where I can listen to it in different locations, because there's no, my bass accuracy in my current situation is not accurate.
It isn't. My bass accuracy isn't. No, I know what you mean. There's one of the most popular ones is a Sony headphone. You see a lot in movies and studio. Do you have one? Yes, Jeb does. That's it. Those are probably
it's the same.
Aaron has it, Aaron has it. Very, very popular headphone, and they're supposed to be great, especially for the budget. They're not real expensive, and they've got a really pretty accurate response to them. So, let me ask you guys: raise your hand if you've made a groove in the last month. Okay.
Groove meaning just a groove, or for a song?
Somebody just left. I don't know who just left with that crack. Oh, okay. Nice. So one of the things I want you guys to I'm going to keep bugging you about this because it's so important. And the more you get into it, the more you're going to love doing it. Make grooves. Put them in folders. They'll become songs. Some will just die away. But at the end of the day, it'll teach you so much. And it's a chance to use new software that you have. Use old software you forgot you had. It's an opportunity to try genres. You know, the way I do it, I always pull up a song that you like, that you heard this week, that you're like, ooh, I like that song by Lizzo or whatever. And you pull it up and you're like, what is it about that song that makes it just groove so well? And then start to try to replicate that. So you try to figure out the bass line on it, try to figure out the drums on it, try to figure out that cool guitar riff, whatever it is. But that is unbelievably, of anything you will do in this class, is probably the most valuable thing. And then when you get stumped, then you have all kinds of questions to ask, and then you can look it up, see if there's a tutorial, that you see if I have a video about it. And if I don't,
Melodyne.
You can use Melodyne. Exactly.
Transform it into MIDI, and boom, there's that bass part for you.
You could cheat and do that. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, do that afterwards. First, try to use your ears.
Yeah, but I mean, if that helps, whatever tools you have, and then try to figure out the tone. You know, one of the big challenges is synthesizers. Coming up with, trying to figure out what kind of synth patch that is. Now, synthesizers there's billions of sounds, and every sound is mixed with another sound, and most synthesizers are usually a combination of different waveforms together. So you're not going to get that close, but just try to find something that's similar. You know, is that a sawtooth waveform, or is that a square wave? Is that a monophonic instrument, or is that a polyphonic? Is there portamento in that patch that makes it, slide between notes when they're moving it around? Those types of things will help you so much. You're just reverse engineering it. Just find a song you like. If you could do that once a week this year, once a week, you'll just be blown away by how valuable that is. Okay, now raise your hand if no.
If what?
I don't know. Raise your hand if you're going to do it.
I'm going to do it.
All right, good.
I love putting together grooves. Once a week, ooh, for me, that's a little much, but it's very valuable.
I think you make a groove a day.
That's even better. You can do a groove a day, and it could be a simple.
The problem is how to categorize them.
Mm-hmm. I know.
It's just one big mass of grooves in one folder, and then I split them up. But then I think, no, that one should be there, and then I lose completely lose track of them all.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
I literally, the first time I did this exercise, I named every single thing hit song. So I hit song 1, hit song 2, hit song 3, and then anytime I did a revision of that, it would be hit song 3 version 4 or whatever, hit song 5 version 85 or whatever. And now they're just called ideas. So it's the same labeling system. It's just idea 82, idea 94, idea. And man, it's so good. In fact, after I come up with a groove, I try to render it down. I don't always do this. I get lazy sometimes. But if you can render it and then throw it into a folder, either on Disco or on Dropbox or just in iTunes or whatever. In fact, on the plane just a couple hours ago on the way here to Dallas, I didn't have internet. So I was just searching through my iTunes library, which I haven't updated in a long time, but it has all these grooves that I have imported. So I just started listening to all these old grooves, and tons of them. I'm like, oh, that was pretty good. And that one sucked. And I like the strings on that one. And again, don't overcomplicate it. It can be as simple as a 5-minute task, or it can be an 8-hour task. It's up to you how much you want to put into it. But don't go into it thinking every one of these grooves has to be really amazing. That's not the way to get anything out of it.
It's practice time.
Yeah, it's practice.
But I also put the tempo and the key in the name of the groove.
So smart.
Because then you can find similar grooves, and if I need a slow one, and also put the way it makes me feel.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
If it's sad or happy or.
I like that. That's a great idea. I think I may do that. I'm going to steal your idea. That's very smart. And then sometimes those ideas become songs. So like I'm working on one right now, and it's called Paintbrush. Well, if I keep labeling it idea 85 underscore version 30. I'll never find it when I go to listen to my reference track. So at some point I put in parentheses in the title of it, Paintbrush. But I don't want to call it that from the beginning because the title may change. I may start out writing a song called Paintbrush and realize, down the road that it's better to be called Colors or something like that. So anyway, I really, really, really would love to have you guys share on our next calls, in the morning calls. Just share one or two grooves that you're working on. I know it's totally vulnerable, but I'll do it too.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, and
You should share a lot more music.
I think so too. Because I think we're going to grow more, and you're going to find out the talents that you guys don't even know you have yet. You're going to find out Tobias is incredible at this, and Fox is insane at that. And you're going to go, next time you're working on a song, you're going to go, oh, I need, ukulele. I'm going to call Julie for that or whatever. Right, Julie?
You play ukulele?
If you need 4 chords, I can take it.
Do you know how good Amber is at the piano? Do you guys know that?
Yes.
She's insane. Yeah, I mean, those are the kinds of things that she's not going to toot her own horn, so I'm going to toot it for her. But she's amazing. Do you know how good John Agaki is at guitar?
Also, I'm also good.
And Sam, I still have never heard any of your stuff though.
Never.
I don't think I've heard any of your work.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Please post it.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, I would love to hear it. But that's the kind of thing that you'll start to find out, and man, that makes it so much more fun because this is a community. This is where it's all about. This is where it gets really fun.
Maybe it would be a good idea if, I would love to hear some of Amber's piano. Maybe we could just post some of the songs that feature the stuff we think we're really good at, in a thread. Maybe we can start one today, and then we could just post some links to songs so we all know where the strengths of the others are.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yes,
Cool.
and if we give feedback to each other, we can also decide which song to put in a kind of demo list, or to show what you can do. You can do it with licensing.
It's all
I have
right.
a really bad day with it.
No, you're fine. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I love that. There's a girl named Chelsea in our class as well. You know what she plays? She plays a banjo. And
That's
she's
nice.
good. And I know not every song you work on is going to need a banjo, but when I need a banjo, you know who I'm going to call? I'm going to call Chelsea.
Is Shelly also in this group?
Yeah, she's been on here a couple times. She's got
She
short
plays
hair.
a lot of instruments. I worked on a song with her a long time ago in the group with Ari and
Oh, you did?
Kathy. Yes.
Oh, very cool.
We were accountability partners.
Oh, okay.
So,
Nice. Yeah, she's really sweet, very quiet.
yes.
So anyway, I think that's fantastic. One of the things I'm working on this year is something that's been requested many times before, and I'm working on getting this together. It's going to be a very simple song that you can download, a zip file, to just help you practice mixing. So it's basically, it's going to be just a package that you didn't record. It'll be somebody else. I may have some of you help me with different files that are going to be very dry. And it might be just 5 tracks, you pull it into your DAW and you get to go to town and be creative with it and see what you do with it. And we can compare to each other and say, how did you do that? How did you get that kind of thing? So if anybody wants to volunteer a song at some point, let me know. But if not, I'm going to be working on some stuff to put that together because I think it would be really important on the mix phase of this class to get more and more familiar with how you hear things compared to how other people are hearing things.
It's also great to hear what other people can do with your song.
Yeah.
Because you mix in a certain way, and
Yeah,
then that can become a totally different song.
right, exactly.
If they emphasize different things.
Mm-hmm. So be kind of looking for that. I'll probably end up marketing that differently to other people, but you guys are all grandfathered in because you're in the class, so I'm just going to give it to you. But that'll be an extra thing. I'm probably going to sell at some point. That being said, if anybody has any other ideas that you would like this class to expand to, or if you have not done your one-on-one call with me, I've done a few of them.
I haven't. I forgot to do a.
Yeah, no problem.
I asked you a question about that because it were all on dates I wasn't available.
Yeah,
3 dates.
I have slots in the morning and I have some slots in the evening. But
Okay,
if
I'm
none
gonna look
of
again.
those work, let me know. I know Tobias had the same issue because he's over on that side of the world. So let me know if a certain time works better for you, and I'll see if I can make that happen. Okay, Sim?
Yes.
Cool.
Zahn, where did you post that?
Yeah, it's in the group, but I can repost it. Actually, I'll just send you guys it right now.
Okay, cool.
Can you pin it on top?
Okay, yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, I'll do that after we get offline here. Does anybody have any last couple questions? I need to get going here in a few minutes.
I've got a couple.
Okay, John, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm back
Good.
from caregiving and shoveled out from 2 winter storms. But something that affects a particular person in the class, when I was doing the Google Drive exercises and when I did the exercise sheet, I inadvertently deleted a student's link, and it was Ann Harper. I sent an email, and I don't know if you got it.
I got it. Sorry, I meant to get back to you. That one got lost.
Oh, no, I just want that's fine, just so you know about it.
Thank you for being proactive on that. I'll reach out to her and find out. I think actually Google saves previous versions, so I think I can probably recover it.
You just has to repeat the copy link in
Yeah.
there. It should be no damage done, but
Yeah, exactly.
You, so, and then I had a question about doing the. Oh man, I've been trying to catch up on all sorts of stuff since I've been back, so I'm a little fried right now. Well, thanks, Tobias, for getting me onto this call. I couldn't do it.
No worries, sure.
Thank you.
Oh boy, what was my thought? Oh, with the grooves. I've been working with medieval software that I purchased, and I, in a way, I guess that's a groove, you know. But writing stuff or doing those snippets, I think they were supposed to be or could be in the style that you think you're going to be writing in, or is it more just experimentation?
It's whatever you want. If you want to simply focus on just your style, totally fine. But if you want to reach out and go beyond that and get really creative, like Kate is super creative. If it's the Kate, I think it is. There's 2 Kates in our class. But yeah, just do whatever you want. If you want to just experiment with learning synthesizers, play with that. Make a little beat and a groove. It doesn't have to have drums. When I say groove, I'm just saying make some music, make some sound that is about 20 seconds to a minute. It's long, something like that. Doesn't matter. And then render it and put it in your folder, and you're going to have a record of just a bunch of different ideas. And so, listen, you got to be so comfortable with the idea of making terrible stuff. You cannot make good stuff unless you make lots of terrible stuff. So when you get over that fact and start making just stuff, man, just crank out stuff. Now, all of you guys, I know all of you pretty well, and I know your level of talent, so it's not going to be crappy. It's going to be good. But even if it wasn't, it doesn't matter.
I have to say there's one thing that happened when I was working in the medieval instruments package that I had bought. And when I did bring part of that song or the song to the professional studio, he was critical of the tambourines, and I didn't particularly like the sound of them either. And so I went back and I went into Logic, and he improved everything, but and they still didn't sound that great. So I went back into the program in Logic, and I went to the equalizer, and I was just noodling around, seeing what would happen if you canceled out certain frequencies. It was almost like there was a hum when it would it would be shaken, this tambourine.
Okay.
And so I went into the EQ and Logic, and I managed to get that out of there, but you still could hear the tambourine. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. That
was really cool.
I did something the engineer didn't do, but
Uh-huh.
I managed to cancel it out of there. It's still in the demo stage, to give him credit, But anyway, just to experiment, as you had mentioned in one of your early lectures, just to noodle around and discover your DAW and see what it does. And
yeah, I mean, if we were learning how to paint, you need to have a space where you can. Oh, does that mean you need to have a space where you can just? Then your room. I mean, I'm not suggesting you have a cluttery room, but think of your desktop and your software as a workspace. Let it get cluttered, and then once a week maybe clean it up, put things in files and organize it and stuff. But think of it as just I know I'm probably beating the dead horse on this, but I want to just emphasize not to be perfectionistic about this. I think the thing that slows producers down the most in this area of production is the idea of they overthink everything instead of just saying, oh, this is a cool new software. I'm going to just jump in and try to play with it and see if I can break it. They think, no, I need to take 4 tutorials on it, and then I need to read the manual, and then I need to carefully plug it in, and then I need to, it's like, no, just try. And then when you get stuck, now go read the manual. Okay, you're unstuck, now go back into it and just play. Just play. So
I wrote and recorded and mixed a whole song on Saturday.
Whoa.
I just started playing, and I put a guitar part, and then I put a bass part, and then I had lyrics, and
that's
just tried all kind of things. And
yeah,
when I liked it, I thought, okay, it's good.
Yeah, good for you.
It turned out completely different than what I had in mind before, but still liked it.
That's fantastic. Julie, were you raising your hand?
I'm a guilty cover to cover before I use anything manuals reader. So it's like, me, but also real quick, what are some of your methods for exploring, like, I have, synthesizers and stuff, and there's all these just lines of different sounds that don't really reflect the sound. It's just a name. Yeah. And the only way is to go through. And so then I go through it and I'm like, well, how do I keep track? I can't rename it. So,
You can rename them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you have to save them into your own user folder. But yeah, you can take it, rename it, tweak it.
You can also patch most of the times you can patch the sound to something you like more before. For example, if you think there's too much reverb on it, you can take the reverb off and
then resave it. What synthesizer are you talking about, Julie?
I had that KHS-1 that Ozzy posted a thing for like a year ago. Anyway, that's one of them. But just anything, like I had an old synthesizer, and it was this nice grid with all the families of instruments and all the sounds, and I could make notes with a pen. And so I'm just like trying to figure out, if I like something, what's the most efficient way to remember that I liked it, why I liked it, and where it is.
Right.
What's it called? So.
Yeah. Can you make favorite sounds?
Unclear. I'll look. I haven't looked for that yet.
Yeah.
There are times it's.
I know. Like I used to use Silent. I think it's Silent, and it has one of the worst interfaces. It was so appalling that I just went, I'm sorry, I'm not going to use this song, because it made everything really way harder than it should have. Oh. Yeah. I think Tobias had to leave.
Oh.
Anyway, we need to wrap up here, but I wanted to just say real quick, if you guys have pictures of your studio or a piece of gear or your family or yourself in the studio, please send them to me. I want to start updating our group photo just with very informal pictures so that people see, not just studio gear, but other things. See you working, see you playing the guitar. I would love that. And you could just forward it to me and I'll post them up there.
I have a lot of those pictures on my Facebook
Oh, very cool.
artist account.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, good to see you, and I will talk to you later. Let me know if I can help you with anything, and I'll post a link to the one-on-one call. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Diane.
Yeah.
Hey, bye. Nice.